Hi there, I'm Connor, I'm Off the Cuff, and today I am talking to you about 10 Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane stars John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and John Gallagher Jr., and is the feature debut of Dan Trachtenberg, who I believe has done some music video or commercial and Portal fan film. But it is about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays a girl named Michelle, who was in a car accident while leaving a relationship and wakes up in a bomb shelter, which is maintained by a man named Howard, who is played by John Goodman, and he's obviously not all there and might even be dangerous. And he claims that he is keeping her alive and keeping her safe, as well as another man in there named John Gallagher Jr., named Emmett, played by John Gallagher Jr., because something outside has happened. But has something happened? What's happening? Oh no! Watch the movie and find out. This movie is a claustrophobic psychological thriller, and it is only like a spiritual follow-up to the original Cloverfield. This really doesn't have anything to do with it. What we get here is basically something akin to a long episode of The Twilight Zone, and if you know me, you know how much I love The Twilight Zone. And this movie honestly felt like a movie that was made specifically for me. I mean, I almost feel guilty at how much fun I had in this movie. I loved it, actually. So, what we have is a slow burn mystery box thriller, and it is character driven, it is dialogue driven, and we have a minimalist cast and a minimalist set. And the actors really make the most of these characters, and the director makes the most of this location through effective direction and atmosphere and the ramping up of tension. So I think that even thematically, the director really, and the screenwriters here, there's 3 screenwriters, one of which is Damien Chazelle of Whiplash fame, which that movie is excellent. And thematically, this thing is consistent. Even when we get to the third act, which I'll talk about later, this thing is constantly thematically consistent, and it really does manage to keep those central ideas solid, even throughout this like mysterious, topsy-turvy, what's going to happen next mystery. This thing really kind of kept me glued to the edge of my seat. I had so much fun, and this is where we're going to get into kind of towards the end. The final 10 to 15 minutes of this movie is the weakest thing about this movie, undoubtedly. I think everyone can kind of agree with that, because while from a character place, the last like 2 minutes, you know, is effective, is certainly effective from a character standpoint. Directorially, it's still directed competently. And thematically, it is still consistent. The problem is its tone, and this is really where you can feel Dan Trachtenberg trying his hardest to transition this movie from what it's been to what it all of a sudden turns into the last 10 to 15 minutes, because it becomes something so different, so drastically different. I was like almost surprised that this was even conceived to be in this movie. It was so different, so jarring, and a little it was more than a little disappointing. I wouldn't say it's anticlimactic, but it is very disappointing. However, 95% of this movie was great, and I loved it. And I can't really ignore that, even though at the end it is a little whatever. I've seen this movie twice now. The last 10 to 15 minutes are better when you know that it's going to happen. But honestly, the meat of this movie is why I love watching movies. It's entertaining. There's something for your teeth to sink into at the same time. It's keeping you engaged. I do wish there was a little bit more ambiguity, though. I will say that also about the 10-15 minutes. Once you get to the end of this movie, all of its questions are answered, and there's really nothing else to question. But, oh well, I still really like this movie. I'm going to give 10 Cloverfield Lane an 8 out of 10. Real solid movie, and you should definitely check it out if this is your kind of movie. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm Connor. See you later.